What Really Happened to Jon Provost star in Lassie? Jon Provost was born Jonathan Bion Provost on March 12, 1950, in Los Angeles. Bred. His father was an aeronautical engineer. His mother accompanied him on the set and was paid a salary plus expenses for being with him. Jon was just 3 years old when he was cast as Jane Wyman and Sterling Hayden's son in the film So Big in 1953. He proceeded with The Country Girl in 1954 as Bing Crosby and Grace Kelly's son, Back from Eternity starring Anita Ekberg, and co-starred in Escapade in Japan. His father urged him to go to college. Jon attended Sonoma State University north of San Francisco. He initially sold real estate in the area. Jon Provost underwent 2 marriages, respectively, with Lori Jacobson and Sandy Goosens. In 1970, he departed from Hollywood, at 20 years old, after filming Disney's The Computer Wore Tennis Shoes 1969. Met and later married their first wife Sandy after accidentally backing his car into hers. They had a son and a daughter. They subsequently divorced, having 2 children, Ryan Provost, Katie Provost. His acting career was known very early on. In 1957, Provost won the role of Timmy Martin in the CBS television series Lassie. He joined the show at the top of the 4th season as co-star with Tommy Rettig, Jan Clayton, and George Cleveland. At midpoint in the season, George Cleveland died and the show was completely revamped with Provost becoming the primary human star after the departures of Rettig and Clayton. The following year, he met June Lockhart on the set, who would play his mother, Ruth Martin, and would remain close friends. On December 25, 1958, Provost and Lassie were holiday guests on NBC's The Ford Show, starring Tennessee Ernie Ford. For 7 seasons, 1957 to 1964, audiences grew to love Timmy and his adventures with Lassie. Timmy's canine companion was played by 3 dogs that were all descendants of Pal, the original Lassie from the MGM films, Pal's son Lassie Jr. and his grandsons Baby and Spook. In 1964, however, Provost was 14 and chose not to renew his contract, although Campbell's Soup Company, the sponsor, wanted 3 more years. Jon's career slowed considerably following the Canine series and, aside from a few minor roles in the films, this property has condemned The Computer Wore Tennis Shoes and Philippine-made family adventure The Secret of the Sacred Forest, found little work to sustain himself. By the time Jon turned 19, had worked in film and television for 16 years. The darker side of the 60s was beginning to take over, so, amid plentiful high-profile job offers, he escaped from the only life he'd known, showbiz. Jon headed for college in Northern California's wine country, studying psychology and eventually settling to raise a family in Sonoma County. In 1990, Jon made a decision to return to television, performing in the new Lassie starring Dee Wallace. In one nostalgic episode, he appeared together with Lassie's original master, Tommy Rettig, who made a guest appearance. On February 1, 1994, received a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame at 7080 Hollywood Boulevard in Hollywood, California. He also received a Genesis Award for Outstanding Television in a Family Series for a new Lassie story he wrote focusing on the inhumane treatment of research animals. Since his early acting days, gracing screens from Not Quite 3, Jon has seen it all: the trials of child celebrity, the social strain, the sex, drugs, and rock and roll of the 60s on the Sunset Strip, and battles with near-crippling depression and dyslexia. For a while there, Timmy really was stuck down a well. But he got out, and these days Jon has a different story to tell. He began directing and hosting online videos about dogs and cats for a Purina website. Jon's career began afresh and has been burgeoning in a variety of surprising directions since. In 2008 marks Jon's 50th anniversary in the role of Timmy. He is celebrating with the release of his autobiography, Timmy's in the Well, and a multi-city tour. He has done a few animated voiceovers and made an isolated film appearance in the family film drama Susie's Hope. In a 2014 interview, Provost said, "I worked with Baby for 5 years straight. Obviously, he and I really bonded. He was my favorite and I also thought he was the most intelligent of the ones I worked with. They were all great dogs." Forever after, everything about him is remembered.